Welcome, dear friends. Hope you enjoyed the previous episode. If so, take a moment to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Now let us move on to the next episode. A heart-rending one. The uncalled for ritual. Back at OT, another busy day started. As soon as I reached Uncle's home, Aunt Mary, the distant relative, was waiting for me. She asked me to get back the rose garland she had shoved in the hospital bushes a few days ago. Again, I had to make my way to the hospital, along with my brothers, and retrieve the garland for her. A long walk it was, 4 kilometers, one way. In the meantime, the casket had been ordered, a requiem high mass, to be celebrated by the two bishops, had been arranged at St. Mary's Church, and subsequently, the burial was to take place, in the evening, at the adjoining cemetery. St. Mary's was the first Catholic church at OT. A small church, constructed in the year 1837. It was later enlarged, in the year 1870, to accommodate all its parishioners. Built on St. Mary's Hill, amidst the natural beauty of the Queen of Hills, that's how the Nilgiri Hills are called. It is a serene place that tranquilizes its visitors. All our relatives and friends had come in for the requiem high mass and funeral, which was to take place in the evening. It was a gloomy day. A small drizzle was just starting to fall, and the mood of the house also was gloomy. After so many years of pleasant company, today, Uncle is going to be laid to rest, never to rise again. Both Uncle and Aunt May were good hosts, and the visiting guests always had memorable times with them. Every summer, I used to spend my vacations with them, and the memories are still green in my heart. At around 11 in the morning, the women present in the house took Aunt May for the final ritual at home. They dressed her up like a bride in her wedding sari, adorned in the best of her jewels, a big bindi, a decorative mark worn in the middle of the forehead by Indian women, on her forehead, along with a lot of glass bangles in both her hands and all. Uncle's two palms were set up in a such way that it appeared as if he was asking for something. Then, Aunt May was brought in front of his body, in a procession, by the ladies, and made to sit in front of him. First, they removed her Mangal Sutra, a medallion, made of gold, inserted into a yellow thread, with two small golden tubes, at either sides, which is knotted by the groom, to the neck of the bride, during Indian marriages, which she must wear all her life, 24/7, or till the death of her husband, and placed it in his open palms. Then the bindi was removed. Finally, they broke all the glass bangles she was wearing and started weeping, beating their chests, though I could not see a tear drop on the faces of many of them. This ritual completed, they took back the inconsolably weeping Aunt May, again in a procession, to her room. They changed her clothes, and now she was attired in white. No bindi, no jewels, no bangles, she was brought back again. This time, a widow. It broke my heart. Must a woman be treated in such a way? I thought, that too, by the self-same women folk, and these people talk about patriarchy. It's only a woman who pulls down another. Could this be coined as matriarchy? It reminded me only of the crab mentality in human beings. That was my first encounter with the ugly, evil face of superstitious beliefs and uncalled for rituals. And these became my permanent adversaries from then on. Is the Creator responsible for such untoward happenings, or human created religions and their statutes responsible for it? If the Creator be one, why so many religions? Do other creations have such disdainful laws, or are there common, natural laws that are followed and statutes kept? I leave it to the judgment of the reader. When these were going on one side, a duel broke out in the family as to who will get what share of the property. The dead man's body was still lying in state, awaiting funeral. The Foster's family on one side, and Aunt May's brothers and their families on the other, with the widow out there, dumbfounded, not knowing what to do or say. Finally, a sensible relative spoke some sense into the minds of these greedy people, and requested the two parties to postpone their fight after the burial. On the one side, we see what life is all about. Once the life gets out of a body, it's just a decaying shell. On the other side, one stares into the ugly face of greed. A poor man is better placed in such matters. At least, his grand finale will be more peaceful than that of a rich man, having so many robbers as kith and kin. A sad state of affairs, this was. The time for taking the body to the burial ground finally arrived. A priest came along with the hearse. Uncle's body was finally placed in it and the procession began, in some time. The priest was leading the procession and prayers, and you must see, all these holy fighting devils suddenly became saints and were walking along in the procession with faces of highest piety and utterances of prayers and hymns. Even Lucifer would have been amazed and would have longed to learn from them the art of pretense and disgusting disguise. This whole scene brought to my mind the Shakespearean play of Macbeth. What a pretentious world we live in. On reaching the church, the casket was placed in front of the altar and the Requiem High Mass began, with the bishops at the center and a number of priests joining them. The Roman Mass is something to reckon with. The whole missal was sung with a great choir, bringing in the mood of the occasion. It went on very well. During the distribution of Holy Communion, all brothers and sisters of Lucifer put out their tongues readily and received the Holy Communion with great piety and holy faces. Even halos could be seen around their heads. One day, if at all, I meet Jesus, I thought I would ask him what he was doing on their tongues. After the Mass, Uncle's body was taken in a procession to the cemetery. Then again, there were some prayers led by the priest and final sprinkling of holy water. Then the casket was let down by ropes into the pit. At that time, one of Uncle's friends ran up to the pit weeping and dropped a bottle of whiskey and a few packs of cheroot into the pit. Something to entertain Uncle out there, I thought. Finally, my good uncle was laid to rest, no more to be disturbed. Well, friends, we had come up to this. There is one final episode tomorrow. See you till then. Good day.